Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another English with Joseph. Well, it's good to be with you again here on YouTube. I have to say that it's getting very cold in the UK now, and also it's getting darker much earlier. So we have a situation whereby at 4 p.m. it's dark and the temperature today is -1. So yeah, it's getting dark, all right, but everything is fine. Christmas is coming, and today I put up my Christmas tree, and also I have to put on my Christmas lamp. This is it here, my Christmas lamp. I'm going to put this at the window for people to see. I'll show you inside this lamp. I have some little lights. These types of lights in English are called fairy lights. So if I just close that again, you can see it looks quite nice, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm not sure about this lamp. I think it's Moroccan, I think. I don't know. I'll need to ask Rada. Rada is one of our regular people from our WhatsApp group and italki as well, and perhaps he'll know where it comes from. Anyway, everything is fine here in the UK. While I'm here, I thought we might just take a moment to go over some grammar. One question that I'm asked a lot is about the present perfect. And I've gone over this many times before, but I don't think it will do any harm to go over it again. First of all, I want to say that if you have any problems with it, there's a booklet on my website, which is teacherjoseph.com. And in this website, if you go to I think it's called free stuff, you'll find a little booklet on the present perfect. It's only 10 pages. So if you want to quickly refresh yourself with that, you'll find it useful. But let me just give you the basics. So many people ask me, when do we use the past tense and when do we use the present perfect? It's a very good question. And of course, a lot of it depends on the circumstances. But as a general rule, we use the past tense when we are talking about business English. And we use the present perfect when we're talking about relationships, friendships, asking how people are, for example. The reason for that is because the past tense is always associated with time. So if I say there was a war, I was hungry, I'm really answering the question, what was it like? Or when was the war, for example? When were you hungry? What did you do on Tuesday at 2:00? Oh, I was hungry. Yeah. So the past tense is always associated with time. And that's fine in business, of course, because your boss is going to say, where were you yesterday? And you're going to say, oh, I was here. Yeah. But the present perfect is more the opposite. It's more about the action of doing and how you feel about doing that thing. So the idea of where were you yesterday becomes, how have you been? Yeah, and the reason it's like that is because if you use the present perfect, you can't use time. So you can't say, where were you yesterday? It would have to be something like, how have you been doing? And then you could maybe add in, I didn't see you yesterday. So on one hand, your boss is only asking for his Excel spreadsheet, where were you yesterday? What did you do yesterday? Yeah, so he can tell his boss and put the figures on the spreadsheet. But if your friend asks you, hey, how have you been? You wouldn't really answer with, I was fine. I did this. I did that. I did this. Then I did another thing. Because your friend would think, That person doesn't sound like they have a lot of time for me if they're so busy finishing all their things. So with the present perfect, you speak more generally about actions, not about specific things with time. The example I always give is that if your mother asks, "Where were you yesterday?" If you say, "I was sick," that's not going to be enough information for your mother. Your mother wants to know all the information, you know? So it's better to say, "I've been sick," because she doesn't care when you were sick, whether it was yesterday or the day before. She wants to know how you are. So she's talking about the actions. So the golden rule is, with friendships, you really need to use the present perfect. If you ever go to a doctor in the UK, they won't say, "How were you yesterday?" They'll say, "How have you been?" Yes. Have you been feeling well? Because they're focusing in on the action. They will only ask you specific times if there's a need to do that, like sending you to the hospital, for example. So, present perfect, relationships, friendships. How have you been? I've been fine, where time really doesn't matter. Okay? But in work, where you have to have a clear note of what you're doing at every moment in time, the past tense is what you need to be using. All right? I hope that's quite clear. Please download the booklet from my website on the present perfect. It really isn't difficult. It's more just a habit. It's also a very good way of cutting people off, because if you work with someone and they say, "How have you been?" and you answer them in the past tense, you're giving a very clear message that you're not talking about your emotions. You're only talking about time. And sometimes that's required, especially if people are trying to find out more about you. Mostly at work, colleagues ask each other, "Hey, how was your weekend?" And they ask this because that's their way of letting you know that they don't want to know about problems or feelings. They don't want you to say, "Oh yeah, my feelings were quite sad at the weekend." If they're asking you in the past tense, they're expecting an itinerary. On Saturday, I went to the park. On Sunday, I did this. If they wanted to ask you really about your feelings about the weekend, they would say something like, "Hey, how have you been over the weekend?" Yeah. And then the question is more about you rather than the actual time that they're asking about, you know? So you can answer someone who's asking you in the present perfect with the past tense to get rid of them. For example, "How are you?" "Well, I was fine." And that is giving the message, "I was fine until I met you," which is very rude, of course, you know. And if someone asks, "Hey, how have you been?" and you say, "Oh, I was busy," again, you're giving them a message that you're talking only about the things you've been doing. Whereas if someone asks you, "How was your weekend?" or "How are you?" by using the present perfect, you can open the conversation up to let them know that you like them. For example, "How are you?" "Yeah, I'm fine. I've been busy. I've been out with my friends. I've been drinking coffee. I'm happy." "How are you?" "Oh, I was fine. I was with my friends. I was busy." It's kind of a cold response, you know? So you need to be very careful how you use this, because it's an incredibly powerful thing. So if you like somebody or you want them to be your friend, the present perfect is quite safe. Present perfect at work isn't quite so safe, because your boss really only cares about deadlines and your colleagues might not really care about how you feel. But using the present perfect allows you a little bit more space. That's the present perfect. There's also the past perfect, that had been, to talk about things further in the past. And if you want to know more about that, you can get my book from my website. It's completely free. It's called Present Perfect Tenses. You can download it and read through it. It's very short. It's only like 10 pages. So you can go through it quickly. So I hope you found this helpful. And right now, I'm going to go and I'm going to take my lamp to the window for the neighbors to see that it's Christmas time. So I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.